It is time to ban, to get rid of, to put horse racing in America out of business. It is a blood sport. It is the only so-called sport where its athletes die and they don't care, and the numbers are there. Since January of 2014, and I want to make sure I get this right so everybody understands. Since January 1st of 2014, 11,325 horses have been killed, euthanized, damaged, all for the sake of the inveterate gambler who's got to make a couple of bucks. And this year, as we sit here doing the show on Friday, May the 2nd, this year alone, 67 horses that we know of, because they've been either out there, the point has been made, or a place like horseracingwrongs.com has gotten the FiOS documents to be able to see it. This year alone, 67 horses are dead. Dead. They're not coming back, and they're usually 1, 2, and 3-year-olds. The youth, the younger horses. We're talking about shattered bones. We're talking about hemorrhages. We're talking about breaking down in the middle of competition. We're talking about training exercises. It's got to stop. This is one of the greatest animal abuse cases in the history of American sport, and it has to be put down once and for all. If you're out there, and I'll get hammered for this, and Kevin, I'm not just talking to you. You know this. We've been friends a long time. If you're out there talking about your fascinators at the Kentucky Derby and having the mint juleps and doing all this bullshit, if you're out there putting a couple of dollars on the Kentucky Derby, you are tacitly giving your approval to the death of innocent horses, of animals that don't have to die for a gambling sport and for your $2.
So I knew it was coming, everyone. I'm not going to lie. In fact, I've known it's been coming. And also, I've known it's been coming for years. Because actually, I will. This is not maybe it is a crusade. And maybe crusade's not the proper word, but I see this from you every year about this time.
It is right around the first. I'll be happy to go there.
It is the first Saturday in May. You are on this. I am an animal lover. I like to think I can speak with them. They like me. I like them. I also love betting horse racing. I'm not going to lie. I sat outside at the fire the other day, middle of the afternoon, great sunny day. And I opened up my TVG account and I was making picks from Santa Anita.
And TVG, in case anybody doesn't know, TVG is the network that has horse racing all the time.
Yeah, all horse racing all the time. TVG network, that's the number one horse racing one. And so they've got their own network. And would you say that they were the first sport that actually had their own network? Because TVG's been around for a while.
Might have been. Well, if you think about it, they were already, because of off-track betting, a million years.
Yeah, there you go. Right, exactly.
There were horse races in Santa Anita, which, by the way, has killed 10 horses this year.
Hang on.
You could watch them in New York.
I have a problem. What was it? How many years ago did Santa Anita have an issue with their track?
A couple of years ago.
I was not a fan of that. That's one of those where everything needed to be shut down. You need to gut the track. I had your back there. That track needed to be shut down, and you needed to gut the turf because the turf was what was killing them.
It's still a problem, though. 10 horses have died this year at Santa Anita as we speak right now. And at Belmont Park, that jewel of racing in the Northeast, 11 horses have died to this day right now.
I know.
So that's two tracks. Two tracks now with a third of the horses that have died this year in competition.
For what you laid out, there is no argument against. The problem is, and I'm trying to play your side here for a moment. The problem is you're not going to ever succeed. You're never going to convince someone like NBC not to broadcast the Derby, because come tomorrow, and we're doing this on a Friday, we're doing this the first Friday before the Derby. Friday before the Derby. Come tomorrow at 6:24 when they go to the post at Churchill Downs. NBC's numbers are going to spike like you're riding your very first archaic roller coaster that goes straight up the hill. The numbers are just going to go through the roof. And you're going to try to log on to a betting account, and you're not going to be able to get in because there's too much action going on.
But more than NBC, and I get you, with the networks that are out there broadcasting it, I get it with the amount of money. It is all greed. End of the day, that's it. But outside of NBA, what is the main reason, in your opinion, that horse racing simply will not go away? There is only one reason why.
Gambling.
No. Gambling is actually 1A. Gambling is part of it. It is part of that connection. It is the states themselves that are making gobs of cash that they pick off. State of Florida makes a tremendous amount of money on horse racing. State of California makes a tremendous amount of money on horse racing. The government is raking in bucks, and there's no one sitting at the governmental level that will say we have to stop horse racing. Why? Because they're getting the taxes. They're getting the kickbacks. They're getting the money from the track. If the government were to come out and say something about it, you would then start to see an erosion that might come down even in the gambling side. But when you have that sort of leadership, if you will, that fake, phony, bullshit leadership that says all we want is our kickbacks from the tracks, that's where it will. If that stopped coming in, if the states got involved, gamblers can go make all the big runs they want. They're not going to have anything to gamble on.
All right, so now this
is like a 1 and a 1A.
All right, I mean, think about this. I'm not going to lie. Horse racing helped me survive COVID because it was the only thing on that I could gamble on during the day. I'm not going to lie. Ed. And you're going to hate me for it, okay?
I'm never going to hate you for it, but I'm just going to throw my arms up and I'm going to guess why. You said at the beginning of this conversation that you love animals.
I do.
You did. Gotcha. If you love animals, then you can't be gambling on horse racing because you are tacitly approving the deaths of these horses.
I get it. I understand it. I want to go back to your point with the government and states.
They all get tax revenue.
Oh, I get it. So notice things in government only get moved when it actually affects them.
Yes.
How do I say this nicely without opening up Pandora's box? But I don't think I'm just going to say it. No one gives a shit about guns in schools or school shootings until it happens in your district.
Or until it happens to your child.
Or until it happens, or until it happens to your child. Now, I was thinking more along the line of the politician.
Yep.
But no,